It's Thursday, the 8th of August, 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories, 5 minutes. Let's go. Story number 1, the Federal Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, has taken on the Reserve Bank about its assessment that big spending by governments is prolonging inflation.
Following the central bank's board meeting this week, its decision to not move on interest rates because inflation is too high, and comments from the Governor, Michelle Bullock, about there being too much excess demand in the economy, Dr. Chalmers yesterday basically said the central bank was wrong. He told the ABC, "I think it's hard to sustain an argument that the economy is running too hot or that people have too much spare cash given all of the data and all of the feedback that we get, which shows that's not the case." Dr. Chalmers said he didn't accept the argument that government spending is fueling inflation. He argued that the government's policies were pushing down the cost of living and budget spending wasn't the primary determinant of prices in the economy. Now, certainly federal energy rebates will push down the headline inflation rate, but the Reserve Bank has made it clear that the effect is temporary and not part of its interest rate deliberations. Also, updated forecast from the central bank shows a significant jump in public demand this year, which, if it occurs, will definitely be inflationary.
Sean, what was the wash-up from the interest rate decision on Tuesday?
Well, markets still think there's a chance of a rate cut later in the year. We got a great insight into the central bank's thinking yesterday from its chief economist, Sarah Hunter. She appeared before Parliament. She explained there's less capacity in the economy to produce stuff, and along with higher demand, it just will take a bit longer to get control of inflation. All that talk about aggregate demand and supply on Tuesday by the Reserve Bank is what has attracted most attention from market economists. Dr. Hunter was reasonably sanguine about financial markets. She said a volatile period is now likely. She also added that the Reserve Bank's base case is not for a recession in the US.
All right, moving on to story number 2 now. And Australia will take part in a joint military exercise in the South China Sea alongside the United States, Canada and the Philippines in a move that is sure to irritate Beijing.
A joint statement by military leaders of the 4 nations said Naval and Air Force units were determined to demonstrate our collective commitment to strengthen regional and international cooperation in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific. The combined armed forces will conduct the exercise within the Philippines Exclusive Economic Zone on August 7 and 8. The leaders of the nations said the activity will be conducted in a manner that is consistent with international law and with due regard to the safety of navigation and the rights and interests of other states. Not hard to see who they're alluding to in this one. Now, the Philippines in particular has really been at odds with China over the region in recent months.
Story number 3, childcare remains the most common reason why women who want a job can't start quickly, while for men, it's long-term health or disability.
The Bureau of Statistics released data yesterday that shows 1.3 million people aged between 18 and 75 without a job want one. There are 2.1 million people without a job who don't want one, and another 3.4 million retired or permanently unable to work. In total, there are about 19 million people in that age bracket. The ABS also put out figures showing the cost of living increases totaled around 1.3% in the June quarter. It's the first time since 2010 that the increase in the cost of living for households was higher than the increase in the inflation rate. Insurance and financial services, which includes mortgage interest charges, along with food and non-alcoholic beverages, were the main contributors to the higher living costs.
Story number 4, Sean. An employee of a warehouse storing what can only be described as a treasure trove of unreleased Bluey-themed coins has been charged with stealing $600,000 worth of the currency from the back of a truck.
Last month, police were told 63,000 unreleased $1 coins featuring the popular Australian cartoon character were taken from a storage facility in Sydney's west, according to a story in the Sydney Morning Herald. Strike Force Bandit was formed to investigate the alleged theft. Now, Bandit, of course, is the name of Bluey's dad in the long-running show. The $1 buck coins were produced by the Australian Mint in a limited edition and feature 6-year-old blue heeler Bluey holding a balloon on the front and King Charles on the back. Last week, police officers raided a property where they found just 189 of the missing coins. Now, the man in possession of the coins was a legitimate coin collector who had innocently obtained them, police said, but it was the breakthrough needed to nab the Bluey thief.
All right, last one, Sean. Story number 5, and I have no idea what to make of this one. Luxury brand Dolce & Gabbana has introduced a new fragrance, but it is a fragrance for dogs, and it's a bargain at about $170 a bottle.
According to Dolce & Gabbana's website, the alcohol-free fragrance specifically for dogs contains, and I quote, the cocooning and warm notes of ylang, the clean and enveloping touch of musk, and the woody creamy undertones of sandalwood. End quote. According to the New York Times, perfume has been certified by Safe Pet Cosmetics, an independent veterinary organisation in Italy. Slight problem here. Dogs rely heavily on smell to navigate the world. The world's filled with subtle odour cues from other dogs, humans, food and other potentials. You muck around with that, you could cause all sorts of confusion with dogs. Not the first perfume around the place. An organisation called Hound, Hownd, it makes the Peach Bum Natural Parfume for lady dogs. Another group, Peanut and Pickle, has a selection of fragrances such as coconut, sea salt, peppermint and grapefruit. Even Queen Elizabeth II, known for her corgis, created her own dog perfume a couple of years ago.
Well, there you go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It is Thursday, the 8th of August, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough, then you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget as well to check out the new episode of our sister podcast, How Do They Afford That?, which comes out every week. There is a new episode out now. It is all about health insurance, private health insurance. And if you've ever found the world of private health insurance confusing or a little bit dense, then listen to this episode because we go through everything and explain it all very, very simply. It is a must listen. I'll put a link in today's show notes. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.